Hey everyone, Sean Smith here with Dedicated Commercial Recovery in Roseville, Minnesota. I'm the founder and CEO. Continuing our interview series with our new EVP of Finance, Scott Wallace. Scott, welcome to the vlog.
Well, thank you.
And welcome to Dedicated.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Anyone who knows me out there in the ether as well as internally knows I try to take a very humble approach to my background, and so Scott, I'll have you just start out with just introducing kind of yourself and your background, and I'll just say very honored to have you on the team. So.
Well, thank you very much. Just by way of background, I'm born and raised in the Twin Cities. I've been a lifelong Minnesotan. Married my high school sweetheart. Been married for 47 years. I have 3 kids and 2 grandchildren down in Des Moines, Iowa. They live down there, so our cars know how to get back and forth from Des Moines. I had the opportunity to go to the University of Minnesota after I served in the United States Air Force for 4 years, and kind of set me on my path in my career early on. And it's just been a great ride since then. I've had the opportunity to work at a couple of Fortune 50 companies, did a lot of finance work and business consulting work, and just really have enjoyed my time in my career so far.
Yeah, and that'll kind of such an illustrious background, and thank you for your service in the Air Force. My father's a Marine, cousin is Army, uncle's a Marine, grandfather, both on my wife's side and my side were Marines, so the military is something that we have a deep appreciation for in our house as well. I think one of the things we talked about this in advance that I would love for you to share is just, I think it's such an amazing story of what even brings you to Dedicated. And again, I just come from this place of truly being humbled that you even want to be a part of our team. And I'm so excited about what you bring to the team, both not just in skill set and background, but who you are and what you're about, and how much it aligns with the mission of our company to use business as a platform to do some amazing things. So if you wouldn't mind sharing just, from your perspective, what brings you to Dedicated?
Sure. Great question. Something I really came to me the other day when I was thinking about it. How did I get here, and why am I here? I really think it's 3 things. It's number 1 was the 9/11 event, the terrorist attack in New York. Number 2 was Feed My Starving Children, and number 3 was God. And I'll tell you a little bit about that. First one is I was working for Deloitte Consulting on 9/11, and we were out visiting a client in the World Trade Center. And our conference room was on the 63rd floor of the North Tower. That was the first tower hit during the attack, and we were very fortunate to get out without being injured on the way out. And I feel at this point in time, I talk a lot about it, and I feel very honored to be part of the continuing story, to be able to relate to people to that event because of its magnitude and impact on the whole country. It wasn't just something that happened in New York. The way that's connected to Feed My Starving Children is that every year the anniversary was really difficult for myself and the family because we would watch all the specials, we would cry and feel bad and feel lucky that I did make it out, but it was still very emotional and kind of depressing time of the year every year. When we came up to the 10th anniversary, and it was going to be a lot of press, and there was going to be all the specials on TV. My oldest daughter called a couple weeks beforehand and said, "We're not doing this anymore. We're going to do something positive on that day and change how we think about it." And she said, "I signed us all up to pack food at Feed My Starving Children." And I said, "Okay, sounds good," and we all agreed. And so we went to pack food on 9/11 on the 10th anniversary, and it was life-changing. Not only is packing food to feed kids important, I really felt that God touched me and said, "This is something you need to stay involved in." And we have. Since then, I've been part of the advisory council here in Minneapolis on Feed My Starving Children. We pack food on a regular basis and contribute when we can. And I think that's really important. So 9/11 got me to feed my starving children, and I didn't even know about it before then. And really, God stepped in His way of doing things to bring me to Dedicated. About 8-9 months ago, you had a LinkedIn post that showed your million meal donation to feed my starving children. And since I'm on the advisory board, I always like to comment on those kind of things. And I commented back to you and said, "This is amazing. More businesses should be doing this." And then on the side, I sent you that LinkedIn message and said, "I want to learn more about your company and why you're giving back." And you took my call graciously and told me about Dedicated. And I was trying to put debt collection with giving back, and you have the right message, and the company is so focused on giving back as its mission, but at the same time changing the face of the industry be able to do what we do in a more Christian way, driving better results. And so we became friends over the course of those last few months. And about a month ago, you reached out to me and said, "Well, would you be interested in joining my leadership team out here? And why don't you pray over it?" And I came out and we met a few times, and that's the first time somebody in a job offer has said pray over it. But I did a lot, and that's what brought me here. I was directed this way, and the three tie together, and all the things I thought about since the 9/11 attack and the different things that have happened, I never, until the other day, sat down and said, "This is how that's all connected," and you can see His hand in all of that. So that's what brought me here.
It's just such a powerful story, and I just appreciate you sharing that and being open to sharing that. And that's something that, I think yet another reason why you are such an amazing addition to our team is being willing to be publicly transparent about not just being involved in that event, but in what it's done for you and your family and how that's changed, and then also the faith aspect of it. I have a feeling that, like, if you are of this faith sect, you should be that in business, you should be that in your personal life, you should be that as a parent, you should be that as a friend, as a neighbor. And I know that is challenging for some folks out there, and we've talked about this, the corporate community really trains you to say that's not okay. And I love to go in the face of that and say, not only should it be okay, but there's a business case for that, really being able to support what we've been able to do. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'd be interested to know, for you to share too, you've been on board for the last 3 weeks. You're coming in from the Southside perspective. Obviously, you have a very strong background in working for some amazing companies, Fortune 50 companies. What has been your kind of perspective coming in, and what has probably most stuck out to you about Dedicated from your perspective?
That's an interesting question. I would say the number one thing, because I always come into situations, and I was a consultant for so long, working for Deloitte Consulting, that I kind of come in with that consulting mentality and look at it from a people, process, technology point of view. But the thing that really stood out to me so far has been just the people. There's a buzz in the office. It's always a positive buzz. People are helping each other out and going about their day in such a active and positive way. You just feel good walking in the door in the morning. And I got here real early this morning, and so I was in before. There's a few people here, but not many. And as the office filled up around 7:45, 8 o'clock, there's the buzz again, and it's this positive. We're going back and forth, and I think that's my biggest first impression. Is there's a very positive vibe here, and from there everything can go and everything can grow. And so I think that, to me, has been the biggest thing in the first 3 weeks.
I'm glad to hear that. That's obviously something, as you know now, I'm very intentional with. I think you get in business what you talk and focus on.
Yeah.
And if your focus is to give back and to serve people, to really try to do positive things in their life, and that includes, I wouldn't say most importantly, but just as importantly, your own team. right, then that should be the byproduct of it, right?
Yeah.
And so exciting here. So as a fun way to wrap this up, I always like to ask this question. I've totally stole this from other people who do these, and so to all those people out there who have inspired me to help create this vlog and do it regularly, thank you. But what is one thing that people might not know about you?
Well, I think, so I'm a finance and accounting guy, real involved with my family all the time. Those are the things people know generally about me. When I was going to university, when I got out of the service and I was started at the university, I was a fine arts major. And so I really thought I was going to have an art career going on. And my wife and I were just talking about this the other day. The human interest part of that is at the end of my sophomore year, I think I was explaining to her about our work in the studio that day and pretty excited about it. And she looked at me and said, "What are we going to do with that? What are you going to do with an art degree?" Mm-hmm. I hadn't thought about that. I was kind of pursuing a passion and realized I needed to take that and make it into more useful type degree. So I switched over to accounting because it was the only degree that separated in the business school. So I could get a degree in business in accounting. I got it, but I'll tell you, the creativity, the things that I learned those first 2 years have stayed with me. I find that in business, being creative is a real plus. Mm-hmm. And in many ways, whether you're presenting or talking or doing a PowerPoint or trying to explain results of business, it's a storytelling process. And so that creativity, I've still been able to use it, but most people don't know I was a fine arts major, so.
I can relate to the fact that, and actually one of the folks on staff, Marty, him and I worked all through high school in the Fine Arts Center at our high school, building sets, doing lighting and things like that. But I was asked this question, and one of the things I'd said is that when I came out of school, I was either going to go to college to be an auto mechanic or an interior designer. And I enjoy that. I've designed every aspect of dedicated with help of awesome more artistic people than I, but I think I agree in business that's important to have that. So that's you wouldn't be the first guy I would peg for the Fine Arts Center work. But well, again, thank you. I'm humbled that you're on our team. Your story is powerful, and I think that I just know that it spoke. Just watching you share that with the team the other day was really powerful as well. And thank you for being on board and for believing and dedicated and just excited for the future. So
well, thank you for having me. I'm excited as well.
And thanks for being on the vlog, and thank you all for tuning in to these series. I mean, I am continued to be astounded at the fact that we're often in the thousands of people watching this, and quite frankly, it's nerve-wracking. We don't have a director. There's not a professional company in here with lighting and sound and everything like that. So we appreciate you tuning in. As always, please like and subscribe, comment, share. We really appreciate those things. And again, thank you, Scott, for being on the vlog. And as always, God bless.